Do you consider yourself very much a live band? That is kind of what you do, and then the records is kind of that's part of it. But
yeah, I think no. We've been playing loads and loads live, and we really like the fact that every time we can do it a bit differently, and that we just adjust the sound and the songs and to the situation we're in. So in that in that way, we would never aim to reproduce the albums live.
Right.
So, and we really enjoy the moment of live and to get carried away with that and to improvise a lot. That's what we love to do.
So I suppose then that the mood you're in at the time of playing might influence kind of where you're going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's actually sometimes quite hard to put that on record because it's really different, to have something that will last like that forever.
But what's it like then in the studio? Because especially this time when you say you try to do it in a very much a live setting. Mm-hmm. So where we talked about the festival, is it very conscious in the studio? Not so much on the technical side, but in terms of when you're just playing and
yeah, you have a different conscious. You're aware of the fact that it's been recorded,
mm-hmm.
but we try to limit that by just being there with the three of us, and you try to just imagine a crowd and different than the studio. I think we quite succeeded in that, in our little environment there in the studio, and just have the mindset of like everything we just come up with is okay. It's all right. It doesn't have to be perfect. There's loads of little imperfections on the record, and
yeah. In the end, it's just about getting that right headspace where you can play things with feeling and to try and get.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
No, just to try and get that that balance right, so that you get closest to 100% feeling, rather than thinking about all the technical aspects and everything that you need to still nail when you're in the studio. But yeah.
So what helps? Is there a lot of music playing in those days where you are in the studio, and then kind of that seeps through, or how do you get to that kind of?
It's like a form of meditation, I suppose. Yeah, sort of hyper concentration. Yeah, it's good to have an ambience where the lights are dimmed or something like that. Anything like that can help. Yeah. So that's what you try and do. It's not always the best circumstances, but you can definitely get a long way there in the studio, and just try and close your eyes and let your imagination do the talking, and rather than something very cognitive.
Sure. What was the first song then that kind of came together and then kind of formed the basis of the album, or if there was that one?
Yeah, let me think. Was Love Dance the first we recorded? Was Love Dance the first song we recorded?
In the Electric Monkey, yes. I think that's probably a good reflection of the first attempt at trying to capture the sound of the album that we envisioned.
Yeah.
Would be Love Dance, which is the new single, so it's very chronological.
Yeah, first single, almost the first song we recorded of the album.
Do you know immediately when you're on the studio that when something like that comes along, that okay, this is good, that we can build on this?
Sometimes, and sometimes it just takes some time, and you listen back to it and like, hey, actually, that was really cool. We sometimes need some time. We just like put it there, and you have an idea like, oh, that was probably cool, but then after a while, we listen back to it.
Well, that's the whole process of recording. Just going there, trying to be as blank as you can be in your mind, and just let your subconscious float into the music and just express yourself. And then there's a moment of
not straight away to judge or just
no, exactly, that stops the creativity.
Yeah.
So then there's a period after that you reflect on what you've done and are able to sort of evaluate if it's good or not. So, but that was really good in the studio. When we recorded on tape, we didn't have a lot of time didn't give ourselves a lot of time to evaluate, but was a lot of straight in recording and letting the creative juices flow, and then.
And lots of the time we took our first takes or everything.
Yeah.
Because there's always the first take just
first or second
has the magic mostly.
But especially with the theme that is on the album and the kind of prehistoric rhythms, primal. So is that rawness that I suppose was very important. And so was that where that first take time?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not that we really chose to do that, but it just it always happens to be like that. Also with my vocal takes, most of the time when it doesn't really make it better when I do. Like if I would do 5, I would always just most of the time the first one is always the best. Well, I don't know, not the best, but you hear sort of the freshness and the magic in there, and then there might be imperfections and there might be stuff that's not always the best, but it gives sort of the most honest, fresh sound.
And then, especially with your vocals, is that what comes later? Do you first work on the music and then you add some lyrics?
Yeah, no, most of the tracks we played, I already actually sang to it, but then I do another take later normally because sound-wise, being in the same room as the equipment, it's not not the best for recording vocals, but most of the time I already started singing on the demo, like on the first versions as well.
When do you start writing the words? Is that something that happens while the music is being created or after, or do you discuss the lyrics amongst each other?
We do. It's a process we go into together normally.
Yeah, normally it's pretty much at the same time as we're recording. It's sort of that whole creative process sort of comes together for us. It's the way we write. But there are instances where there's maybe a lyric first, but more often it's rather the lyrics that we sort of finish off together after we've recorded like the basic tracks. But yeah, that varies. The whole creative process is different for each song, really.
So Daniel, if we go through the album, is there one track or maybe a bit of lyric that you were particularly impressed by, or
impressed?
or that you could connect to, or whatever? Just maybe a song that sticks out for you in terms of the themes, or.
Yeah, well, I suppose there's some songs that adhere more strongly to the central theme of the album. I would say that would be like songs like Ancient Tribes, maybe in a sense, Love Dance as well. I think they're very characteristic, and in terms of being descriptive of the main themes. So those are the ones that probably dictate what the album is centrally about.
Right.
Yeah.
Because well, Ancient Tribe is kind of the one that stuck out for me as well. So if we take that one, where did that song start? Do you remember?
That one is actually the first song we wrote for the album.
Yeah, I think in a way it was. It
not
sort of
the first
preceded the whole.
Yeah.
It was the one track that preceded the whole other bulk of the songs. It was sort of a song in between Shamanade and this album.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in a way it sort of links the two up, maybe. But yeah, I think that it's more of a story that really describes the underlying concept of the whole album, and getting in touch with our tribal ancestors, and discovering the importance of those rituals that they practiced, and in terms of connecting us as human beings. So that song is basically about that.
What have you found then, and for yourself maybe, and in what you do, what have you found where the importance lies in those kind of rituals? And
well, I think it's when you're trying to figure out why society is the way it is, and why, for instance, people have a strong urge to try and connect as a sort of collectively. How people used to connect collectively by going to church, or by which is also a ritual in a way, religious rite. And I think one of the fascinations for us was when we play music and there's a whole crowd, and the way we play is similar to like a DJ would do a set at a dance party. That sort of response of a collective peoples they're searching for something. They're searching for some higher state of consciousness that they can share with each other. Yeah, so it's a very spiritual thing. And I lost track of the question, sorry, but maybe that's an answer.
Yeah, definitely, because when you do play gigs, is it very, I don't know the right word for it, but very inclusive, that you want to get the audience and kind of create a certain experience?
Well, preferably. Yeah, so it's sort of, it's the higher purpose, it's the best thing we can achieve if that happens in the crowd with a show of ours. So, and sometimes when it happens to us, to get everyone in the sort of trance state of mind.
Yeah, I suppose that's one of the reasons that we probably make music, is because if your music can serve a higher purpose, whether it's that your intention or not, then that's the driving force to keep on playing the music that you make. Yeah.
So have you heard a lot of reactions from people that maybe come up to you afterwards, or so what is one that sticks out, or when you you're thinking of something?
Yeah.
I mean, she's thinking of some funny anecdotes now, but I mean, we could generalize it and just say, that people do, in some way or another, they feel a sort of spiritual awakening. I mean, it's probably too strong a phrase or word to use, but...
Or people that just say, like, I haven't danced like this for years and years, like people that normally don't really are like in touch with themselves to let go of something, and they just let go. And they feel like it's a safe environment to do so.
There's a certain freedom that they've felt during that performance that they haven't been able to feel anywhere else, and that's quite a special thing to get back from people.
I got in trance, and I never experienced that before, so that's cool.
And so finally, then, at the same time, is it very
excuse me. Yes.
So finally, at the same time, is it very cathartic for you as well, being on stage, and you mentioned the word freedom, so is it a kind of an expression of freedom for you as well?
Totally, yeah.
Yeah,
in every way.
Okay.
And,
it's quite addictive as well. It's really to get that feeling over and over again, and to see how the crowd will happen or what will happen on the night, and it's
and it's something that you strive for every time, because you want you want to experience that yourself in order to make it a complete performance. So because people will tell if how you're experiencing it as well on stage, and I think that's one of the things that draws people to us as well, is because they see we're, you know, experience that 100% as well. So that's that's sort of the aim, to get to that state of mind on every show. Yeah.
So I suppose now very much looking forward to being able to play a lot of the songs live.
Yeah, to take the prehistoric rhythm into Europe.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time.
Cheers. Thank you.
Yeah.